So we're going to take a look at the worksheet in Google Classroom titled Operations with Signed Numbers. If you have a printer and can print this out, I think that would be really helpful. Maybe pause the video, go take a moment and print that out. If not, you'll just need to copy this work down on a separate sheet of paper. What we're going to be doing is we're going to kind of start putting all of our rules for positive and negative numbers together. You know that we have different rules for adding positive and negative numbers. Same sign, we add them. And if they were both positive, the answer is positive. If they were both negative, the answer is negative. Different signs, we subtract them and take the sign of the bigger number. We never do subtraction problems. We always change them into addition and then change the sign of the second number. And multiplication and division, we have those sign rules that we went through today. What we're going to do is combine all those rules with some of the stuff we did the second day of class where we had variables and we plugged in numbers for the variables. And we're going to see what we can do here. There is nothing new in what we're looking at. All the ideas you already know. We just need to see how to deal with them in this new context. In problem number 1, we're going to look at 5m minus 6. And first of all, I told you at the start of this problem that m is negative 7, r is 8, and t is negative 2. I'm going to go and I'm going to plug things in, and I'm going to say 5 times negative 7 minus 6. My first question for you is, what operation should I do first? Should I do my multiplication or should I do my subtraction? Well, according to PEMDAS, P-E-M-D-A-S, multiplication happens before subtraction, so I'm going to go and I'm going to do my multiplication problem. 5 times negative 7. Okay, think multiplication rules now. 5 times negative 7, a positive times a negative. Positive or negative? A positive times a negative will give us a negative, so we're going to get negative 5 times 7 is 35. Negative 35 minus 6. Next, we never do a subtraction problem like this. We always need to make 2 changes to our problem. I'm going to need to make this a plus and then also make that a negative. So our problem is now negative 35 plus negative 6. Okay, we've got the same sign going on here with that addition problem. Should I actually add the numbers, 35 plus 6, or should I subtract the numbers, 35 minus 6? Same sign, we add them. 35 plus 6 is going to give us 41. And do I want 41 or do I want negative 41 for my answer? Because it was the same sign and I was adding them, I keep the sign of both of those numbers, so we should have negative 41 for that answer. Let's take a look at problem 2. 4m plus t. Go take a moment and plug in those numbers where the variables are. Make sure you're including the multiplication dot between the 4 and the m. And I hope you turn this into 4 times negative 7 plus negative 2. All right, what am I going to do? Should I do the multiplication or should I do the addition problem? What next? Hopefully you said multiplication. Multiplication happens before addition, so I'm going to go multiply these. 4 times negative 7, is that going to be positive or is it going to be negative? A positive times a negative gives us a negative, so we're going to get negative 28. Negative 28 plus negative 2. All right, so I'm going to go do this problem. When I do negative 28 plus negative 2, what should I really do with the 28 and the 2? Should I add them or should I subtract them? Same signs there. We're going to add our numbers. So negative 28, we'll forget the negative. We're just going to say 28 and 2, we're going to get 30. Is my answer now positive or negative? Same sign you add, but you keep the signs of those 2 numbers. We're going to get a negative 30 for that answer. Let's take a look at number 3. Number 3, I want to do r over t, that fraction r over t. We're going to go fill in our numbers, and we're going to get 8 over negative 2. And I guess my first question for you is, a fraction really means what sort of operation? A fraction means divide. I need to go divide 8 by negative 2. Well, okay. When you do 8 divided by negative 2, is that positive or is it negative? A positive divided by a negative will give you a negative. We're going to get negative 4 for that answer. Next, m times t. I hope you remember, if you have two letters written right next to each other, that means multiply. So when I plug in my numbers, I'm going to get negative 7 times negative 2. Negative 7 times negative 2. Okay, so we need to multiply these. Is negative 7 times negative 2 going to be a positive number or a negative number? Multiplication rules now, a negative times a negative gives you a positive. So I'm going to get positive, and 7 times 2 is 14. Positive 14 over there. Continuing on, number 5. 5t plus 2m. We've got 5 times negative 2 plus 2 times negative 7. Make sure you put those multiplication dots in there. If you don't, your work might end up looking like subtraction rather than multiplication, and we don't want that. Now, I need to follow PEMDAS, and I'm going to do my multiplication problems before I do the addition problem. So I'm going to start with this multiplication problem. Is 5 times negative 2 positive or negative? 5 times negative 2 should give you negative 10. Because a positive times a negative gives you a negative. Negative 10 plus 2 times negative 7. Okay, next, I need to do that multiplication before I do the addition. 2 times negative 7, is that going to be positive or is that going to be negative? A positive times a negative should give you a negative. So we're going to get negative 10 plus 2 times negative 7, that's a negative 14. Okay, well, negative 10 plus negative 14. Same sign here, I'm adding these. Should I actually add 10 and 14, or should I subtract 14 minus 10? Should I add those numbers, or should I subtract those numbers? Same sign means we add, so 10 and 14, we're going to get 24. And do I want this to be positive, or do I want it to be negative? Same sign, add them, but keep the sign. So I'm going to get a negative 24 for my answer. Moving on. Number 6, RM. Take a moment and fill in your numbers. And we're going to get 8 times negative 7. I now want to know, when you multiply 8 times negative 7, is your answer positive or is it negative? A positive times a negative will give you a negative, so I'm going to get negative. See if you can figure out the number. 8 times 7 will give you what? 8 times 7 should be 56. Our answer is negative 56. 2 more of these. Let's flip that paper over to the back, or just go on to the second page. And I think I need to write some things on the top. I'm going to still take those same variables from the first side and say m is negative 7, and r is 8, and t is negative 2. I want to do 3m minus 5t. Take a moment and go fill in your numbers. This one's definitely going to be a little bit trickier. You should have 3 times negative 7 minus 5 times negative 2. I'm going to do the two multiplication problems first. So I'm going to start with 3 times negative 7. Is 3 times negative 7 positive, or is it negative? Positive times the negative gives you a negative. I'm going to get negative. 3 times 7 is, hopefully you're thinking 21. 3 times 7, 21. So negative 21 minus 5 times negative 2. Now, this is important. This sign over here is not really a negative sign, it's a subtraction sign. So I'm going to leave that alone for right now, and I'm going to focus on this problem over here. I'm going to work on 5 times negative 2. Is 5 times negative 2 positive, or is it negative? 5 times negative 2 should give you a negative number. So we're going to have negative 21 minus negative 10. At this point, I hope you remember that we never really do a subtraction problem. We need to go make 2 changes. I'm going to go change my subtraction to addition, and I'm going to go change the sign of that second number and get negative 21 plus 10. And now I'm going to add, and you know what? If you don't like what that looks like, we could also just write it as negative 21 plus 10. That would also work, if that helps you. What should I now do with these 2 numbers, the 21 and the 10? Should I add them or should I subtract them? Different signs. Subtract. I'm going to get 21 minus 10. I'm going to get 11. Do I want this to be positive or do I want it to be negative? Because the 21 was a bigger number and that was negative, we're going to make our answer negative, and we're going to get negative 11. Problem number 8, MR divided by T. Take a moment and go fill in those numbers. Negative 7 times 8 divided by negative 2. I'm going to start up top, because I always kind of deal with everything on one part of the fraction, then everything on the other part, then I do my division problem. Negative 7 times 8, positive or negative? I'm really hoping you said negative. And 7 times 8 is 56, so negative 56. The bottom is negative 2. Now, I want to do negative 56 divided by negative 2. Is a negative divided by a negative positive or negative? Negative over a negative is a positive, so I'm going to get positive. I don't have to write that if it's positive. And 56 divided by 2 should give you, hopefully you said 28. And we're going to get 28 over there. There are going to be a few of these in the homework, not too many. Most of the homework is just multiplication and division practice with some other random addition and subtraction thrown in there. I will see many of you in person tomorrow and at least one of you through Zoom tomorrow. See you later.